hi, we're not quite yet at the new album, but we have something special in between, which is the EP featuring Alsatia amongst other things. Also with a little music video waiting for us today. This is kind of a special song for me because it was the first song I've actually consciously listened to from Galneryus. It kind of was my gateway song. Everything I had heard before were the anime songs. I think the title of the anime was Rainbow and then a string of Japanese words following. You know that song. And then of course Hunter x Hunter and stuff. By the way, Alsatia, which we're gonna listen today, is also an anime opening. I'm just not sure if I can show it here. Back then, you know, I was looking for this very specific type of music. Neoclassical, gothic, symphonic. I got recommended this song, you know, Alsatia, with this really cool cover art. Let's just take a quick look. I mean, come on, wouldn't you click on that? We're gonna talk about this later, probably. Just to conclude, so we can finally jump into this. I'm really pumped. If you look at it as a kind of self-contained product, I think this is probably one of the finest pieces of Galneryus' discography, in my opinion. There's 3 songs featured, and they're all in this very specific aesthetic style, which is just very well executed, in my opinion. But that was enough talk. We have a song to listen to, right? Already starting with this reminds me a bit of Devil May Cry and, you know, those early 2000s action movies. I don't know where that specifically is coming from, but I think it's very distinct. We have this very aggressive sound, which kind of implies those action sequences, and it's very, you know, drum heavy. I think that's actually rather rare, even in Galneryus' own discography. But we also have it mixed with this very deep vocal layer, which leads you into the song. You also, in accordance with the style, have this like very gritty, I think they're playing on a construction site, which reminds a bit of the Everlasting music video, but even in a more gritty way. Also the grading implies that I think we have like a lot of green tones, which we also had before, but I think this is kind of the culmination of all of this. Just taking a look back at that. We also had this bull head mask, kind of implying an even more mythological tone than we had in the videos before. Already starting off with the drums, it's like a very prominent feature here in the song. The guitar is also mimicking this rhythm. Yo! Pretty cool hair on Yamabi. We have these really crunchy guitars. I think they sound so heavy because I think that's one of the songs where we have the 7-string guitar. And then we have this very cool synth sound here as well, which is by default sounds so distressing kind of almost.
It's a vibe that you must pay.
They're mixing up these two very distinct styles. You know, this one is very like dark, action oriented with that muted guitar rhythm, and we constantly have those drums in the background. It's like very prominent, like even more than I remembered. It's very stylized also in that regard. We have that filter over Yamabe's voice in the verse, however not in the chorus. In the chorus they're leaning very heavily into this operatic style. And melody-wise, it's like pretty cool. It almost has this fairy tale-esque quality. So it has these very strong aesthetic opposites. Let's just listen to it again, man. Also the violence. Here, I don't know exactly what that is harmonically because I have no clue what I'm talking about. It just has this very deep pull with that very, you know, mysterious sound and stuff. And I think the visuals also kind of help. That's a pretty cool dress she's wearing, not gonna lie. If you look at it from a symbolic perspective. I wouldn't even know how to pronounce that in English. Minotaurus. That would be a pretty masculine, mythical creature. But here we have this bull head and a feminine body, which I think also embodies pretty well this discrepancy we have in the music. And here again, the next pull. That flanger makes it sound even more tension-filled. If that's even possible, well, yeah, obviously it is. Yo, those strings are so good in this. Very cool riffage here also. That sounds also so fun to play, actually. I like what Shu does here. He has this kind of like spiraling up theme in his playing. Like in the very beginning of the solo, we have this idea for the riff, right? And then it's like really intensifying this idea. And also then in the back of the solo, there's a lot of movement in this regard. This is a very slow chorus as well. The backing vocals. It's probably like the most symphonic sound we have in a Yamabe chorus I can remember. Also, I really like the minimalist backing vocals here. Like, they're not minimalist, but they're rather short in here. Very effective though. Main motif, light motif, some very slow double pedals here, very cool. Back to the fairy tale-esque theme. And the guitar is opening up in the... Yo, that's so cool, dude. We have this very sweet synth thing. Sparkly and stuff, and then we have those guitars. Shoe crabbing. Yeah, we have this very strong direction in aesthetic and atmosphere here. I really like the main motif in the song, which they constantly throw in. Here they had it, for example, and then here again. So it's spread throughout the whole song. That's the one thing. And the second thing is this very specific drum pattern, and they're ending off with that as well. It's like nothing really special, but I think it's stylized and utilized in a way which makes it interesting again. I also like that it's very obviously sampled, like the drummer didn't even make an effort to play here. Sorry, I think it's Junichi, right? Then of course this music video, like, you see it's not that huge budget, CGI, whatever thing. I think it was kind of interesting how they worked with that character here, where they had this kind of trippy filters and colors over it. I think another image we had in the end, I don't know if it was spread throughout the video, but we had this very basic imagery, of course. We had this like bird cage with a white pigeon, I suppose. I don't even, that's not a pigeon, I guess, but you know what I mean? Then also, we're still in the era where we have these really cool melodic solos. This was a really cool solo section. We also enjoyed like the harmonic sequences and stuff. You have these really intense singing choirs in the background. Oh, two voices in the guitar here. And just when it goes on the stroll here, that's so cool. And back to the motif. It almost sounds liberating when we hit the chorus. Another one of those songs where we just hear this style Yamabe has, like going full in, and we have this very free, open sounding strings in the background and all of that. Yuki does a lot here. Without him, this wouldn't work. And the backing vocals. I think like the best analogy I have just for this specific section of the song, it almost sounds like a stream of warm air. I don't know if it's layers of his voice only or if it's the whole band singing, but I don't think we have any other instance in Galneryus where they actually have this specific sound, and it just sounds really good. To be completely honest, this is probably one of those songs where most of the lyrics are ingrained in my memory anyway, but yeah, so the opening, the stream of warm air, how I called that, sings, "We'll find the path of Alsatia, we'll lose if we don't fight now," or how Yamabi would say it. So again, we have battle here. No one can play in the sculpture garden. Petrified faces are watching in the dark. Assimilate yourself in this mystical world. That's all you have to do. Petrified faces are watching in the dark. So it's also at night. Also like fits with the EP cover, where the figure in the middle has these grayish skin tones like those statues, and it's also completely in the dark. Day after day you got tragic situation. Night after night you try to break the wall. Fortune is calling you in this mystical world. You'll find a way. So yeah, we have these emotionally tragic situations you have to deal with. You try to break the wall. I don't know if that's meant to like break free from this place or to break further in, because fortune is calling you in this mystical world. So I think it's actually going in, not trying to get out. You'll find a way. Yeah, so that might be a wall which leads inside. And then of course like this very nice chorus, "Cloud in the mists of time." They probably couldn't have picked a better line to start off this chorus with those operatic vocals and all of that. That's just like very, very cool and very unique. "You must take aim and play your game." We have the game back. This seems to have become the plan to go strategically and tactically about playing this game. Emotional neglect is the price that you must pay to your desire. It's Alsatia. You just believe in the lie to forget the awful truth. You know the disturbance never ends. We have an awful truth here. So again, reflected in the music, very tangent filled metal elements, and this very strong pull. I think I've outlined before, this like very strong pull into this fantasy themed stuff. And it's like playing back and forth with all of that. And I think it has a very nice amalgamation of both of those aesthetics in the very end of the song. It really conveys this process of like fleeing from reality into a grandiose fantasy, but then being pulled back, and those dynamics. There's no reason to take this process. Resentment will change into sweet desire. You run for your life in this mystical world. Beware of the night. So this one, I don't know about that. Resentment will change into sweet desire. I don't know if they're talking about transformation, referring to this. Fortune is calling you in this mystical world. So if you go further into that place, your resentment will change into sweet desire. If that's the message here, or if it just means that, well, you're fleeing from your real life struggles and trying to replace them with the sweet desire of that fantasy world, but that's actually not the solution for the problem. You know, you're actually just fleeing from that. It doesn't get very clear what the implication here is. You run for your life in this mystical world. Beware of the night. Yeah, and then we have crawl in the mists of time. You must face the wall of the hate. So, okay, we have this characterized a bit further here with the wall. It's the wall of hate. Eternal vigilance is the price that you must pay to your desire. I think probably referring to this night theme. Beware of the night. You know, you have to be cautious. And also like petrified faces are watching in the dark. That's actually a very cool way of framing it, because it makes it alive, but it also clearly refers to the sculpture garden because it's petrified faces. If you just read this textually, of course it's the statues, but they are watching, which is like an active thing. Things which are alive do. It doesn't get magical or fantasy-like literally, but figuratively kind of it does. I think that's a very smart way of putting things. Yeah, again, like with the vigilance here, you have to be cautious. It's Alsatia. You just go against the law, fall into delusion. You know the disturbance never ends. Yeah, I think this delusionary factor becomes very clear here as well. It's fleeing from reality, essentially. For what reason? That's open, kind of. But there is an expectance to find something in there, which I think is the thing that matters. Whatever is happening here is not pointless, ultimately. And then again, cloud in the midst of time, you must take aim and play your game. This aim very like you know, you have a specific focus in this here. You must remember this as well. Emotional neglect is the price that you must pay to your desire. Is Alsatia, you just go against the law, fall into delusion. Also, when this is sung, the pull I was talking about, like, I don't know what's played there in the background harmony wise, but it sounds very mystical at that spot in the song. You know, the disturbance never ends. It says, Alsatia, you just believe in the lie to forget the awful truth. You know the disturbance never ends. And then again, warm air, we'll find the path to Alsatia, we'll lose if we don't fight now. Yeah, I really like the lyrics of the song. You notice they put something into this. I don't know if it's like themed after the anime as well. It's probably roughly connected, but from like what I would guess is in most of those anime songs is like that they are always written in a way that they loosely fit when it comes to the anime, but that they also can stand on their own feet as like self-contained songs, which I think this song very well does. They're playing to all their strengths. I really can't find any weakness in the song, if you know what I mean. I really like it a lot, and yeah. As always, I'm glad to put it back into my playlist. And we're again through for today. Thanks for watching. Hope you're still enjoying the reactions. And if so, tune in next time when we're gonna listen to, I don't know if it's, I think it's Cause Disarray or another song. Was it Wings? I don't know, one of those, which are also very cool songs, you will see. So, until then.